Well, hello, here we are again for lunch. Well, today is going to be a very unusual talk. I told you yesterday that I was going to be sharing with you a very special experience I had when I was caught up to heaven. That was very special. But I wasn't just caught up to heaven, which is fantastic, but it was the place in heaven I was taken to. I was taken to the white throne. That is the great judgment throne of God, with the final revelation, the final say-so, the final judgment over everything will happen. So, before I start, we've had people ask, on how to donate, and so forth. And the information is this: is mfhlv.com. That's mfhlv.com. mfhlv.com. And you can go to our website. You can, for free, you can go on there and get all kinds of information. We have archives, or you can go into all kinds of different topics that will relate to whatever you're going through at that particular time period. It's like an encyclopedia, a library of subjects that God addresses in His Word, and it'll be a blessing to you. But also there, you'll be able to find the donate button, and you'll be able to donate, and and so forth. Glory to God. All right. I did not die. You do not have to die to get to heaven. So some of you might find a great relief on the statement I just made. But you can just, you can just be fellowshipping with God, and all of a sudden, you can be, transported there. And we used to have a children's program. We had it for 12 years. Halfway houses are great. This was not a runaway house or anything. It was a program, and so forth. We had 2 on-staff psychologists, because to hold the license that we held, and also to do the work that we did, that was one of the things that we needed. At least one psychologist God gave us 2, and they would do the psychological testing. But the workers there, the men and women that took care of the children, they are the ones that ministered the gospel to the kids, and they're the ones that God would use to bring this tremendous change. But both of our psychologists said so. They said that, we diagnose them, we put them through the batteries of tests and find out the different things that need to be adjusted in their lives. But you guys are the ones that really implement the methods and the treatments that you guys have come up with. So it was a wonderful partnership. In the program, we had this unit, this machine called a computerized biofeedback unit, and it's a cousin to the lie detector. And what it does is it picks up stress. You're hooked up with all these wires, and it picks up stress. But it is a cousin to the lie detector. When I was put on it, and Larry started asking me questions about when I went to heaven, that was one of our psychologists. He, at the end, told me that as far as he knew, that the machine was showing that it was all truthful. There was no... Anyway, I don't want to get too scientific on you. So what happened is, how I got caught up to heaven is, I was doing my internship for the ministry. I was running a men's home. It was a halfway house. It was a place where destroyed men would come to. So I did my internship at the end of the road of men. These were men off of Skid Row. I mean, their lives were just destroyed. Some of them, I remember, had to be assisted. They couldn't even give themselves a shower. But I learned the love of God there. But then the Lord took me to a children's program. He took us. So we started at the end of the road so we could see. I saw the end of the road, you know, of what could happen to people's lives. And it was, I'll tell you, I got a good taste of it too, seeing it and everything. But then when we started working with children, we were able to minister to the children because we already knew they would end up if they, you know, didn't receive help. So while I was in this men's home ministry, it was on 3.5 acres. I went to prayer, and things weren't going particularly well in the natural. And I was dealing with a lot of things, you know, all the problems of the men. There was 18 men. The responsibility of that. Plus, I was running a business. So I'm doing an internship. I have a very successful business, Christian cabinet company, with a partner of mine. But as soon as I would leave the business, I would come home and I would live in a place that was really a closet. I had to make a bed, and I was a woodworker. We had a cabinet shop. The bed had to go. I didn't have enough room for the bed to go flat like a normal bed, you know, because when I sleep, I like to stretch too. So I had to put it in an angle so I could fit it, so I could stretch. Of course, I sacrificed sliding down a little bit because it was an angle, you know. But it wasn't that bad. But in that little room, I was praying to God. I was on my knees. And all of a sudden, I wasn't there anymore. I was caught up. The Apostle Paul was caught up. I'm nowhere near the Apostle Paul, but I have the same God. The same blood has washed me. I'm just not as mature as he is, especially right now. But what happened is I felt, the only way I can describe the ascension is, you know how people talk about a tunnel? Well, mine was very unusual. It was like I was going through this tunnel. So I want you to imagine, so we can relate to something, imagine a big pipe organ, you know, and you are a little fly, and you're flying up while there's music going through that pipe of that organ. And it was the most wonderful music I had ever heard. And when I came through to the end, something was happening to me. And you'll find out about that a little bit, you know, while I was ascending. And all of a sudden, boom, I was overseeing the whole city. It was heaven, the city. And in Revelations, you can, you know, read about that, especially Revelation chapter 21. But I saw the city briefly, and then I was inside the city, and I was in a place called the White Throne Judgment Hall. I've heard about a lot of people going to heaven, you know, going to different places. And I even made a joke when I came back, and I said, everybody gets to go see all the wonderful things, you know, the flowers, this and that. Not me. The judgment room. And to tell you the truth, when I appeared there, it was like I was hovering over the city. I saw the whole city very briefly. And boom, I was in this part, of the city. And I remember looking to the left and looking to the right. I have a construction background. The man that mentored me in business and so forth, in a lot of areas in business, was a commercial contractor. He his company did the remodel, one of the remodels on Caesar's Palace here in Las Vegas. And that place is huge. The Circus Resort and Casino. He did the great new remodel on that, and he did big jobs. He worked with Howard Hughes. Did things with Howard Hughes. But so I'm familiar with structure, and I know about scale architectural drawings. I'm not a certified architect, but I do, scale drawings whenever, like the church, when we built our church, I did the architectural drawings, took it to the architect, Barry Green is his name, and it made his job very easy, because I already had the design. But let me tell you something. As soon as I was coming into that room, I saw this guy, and all of a sudden, I was him. Or should I say, I was dressed a certain way, and all of a sudden, I was dressed different. It was like I was a different guy. And I started to look, and I said, how can this structure be held up? Look at how long the structure is. And there was no pillars. And I said to myself, how can this be held up? What kind of material is this? Because this should be collapsing. It was big, 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 big. And I noticed the people that were there all had the same age. That was strange. The same age. And I started thinking to myself, these guys look like they're in their 30s, and between 30 and I would say 30, 33. When I came back from heaven, I asked the Lord, why were all the people the same age? And the Lord ministered to me that Jesus entered into his ministry at 30, and he was crucified at 33. That was awesome. Now, I didn't go to any other parts of heaven, so I'm just speaking about there, the age that those people looked. But they were all very mature. I started checking out the floor, and I'm just trying to figure out what the floor is made out of, the material. What kind of colors are these, that I'm looking at. And then all of a sudden I said to myself, what are you doing? Wasting your time trying to figure out what the floor is made out of, and how can these colors be? Where is God? Duh. And all of a sudden I looked, and there was a throne. It was the white throne. And as I started to look up, I only got this far. And then he spoke to me. I know people have said, oh, well, Moses spoke face to face to God. But let me tell you something. God can manifest himself in different ways. He manifested himself as a burning bush. He appeared to Abraham. But I'm not talking about him appearing like the Holy Spirit as a dove or a flame of fire. But I'm talking about the raw, where God isn't manifested himself, through something that we can relate to, or something that is not the raw. But this was the raw. That's where it says that no man can see his face. Because he allowed me to get this far, and then he said, if you look at my face, you won't be able to go back. Right there was the biggest disappointment in my life. I said to myself, oh no, he wants me to go back. And I said to myself, what if I were to look at his face? And then I said to myself, I know somebody that disobeyed him in heaven, and that was Lucifer. It didn't go too good with him. And the closer I came to looking at his face, I did it very slowly, because as I started to look up, what I was feeling, what I was seeing was so, I can't even describe it, but imagine if you were a fly sitting on a speaker and somebody was turning the volume up, and it was like the music and the worship and the praise was going through me and was a part of me, and it was the most wonderful feeling I have ever felt in my entire life. It was wonderful. And then the Lord spoke to me and he says, don't look at my face. If you look at my face, you won't be able to go back. Right there, I knew I was coming back. This is why he wanted me to come back. You, right here. I thought it was over. I thought that's it. I had hit the home run. I had died. All my worries was over. You know what I'm saying?
No problem.
I was going through some stuff, and trust me, it would have been a blessing if I would have never came back to me. Because I'm going, no, I don't have to worry about anything anymore. And all of a sudden, you know, Monday will continue on this.
Yes.
But all of a sudden, I'm just going to go back to, I was back on earth, okay, but I'll tell you more about what happened on Monday. And I was back on earth. And when I was back on earth, I asked God, God, what was that wonderful feeling? The closer I came to seeing your face, it was so wonderful. What was that? And the Lord said, the closer you came to looking at my face, your attachment to your body on earth was becoming less and less. The Lord said, right when you got up to my shoulders, the Lord said, your attachment to your body was like a string. He said, if you would have looked at my face, they just would have found your body. That's why it felt so wonderful. I was detached from all my imperfections of this body. That's why the closer I came. Listen, I'm going to share some things about heaven with you. If you want to ask any questions and stuff, you know, go ahead and get in contact with us, you know, through Facebook here. And I'll answer some of your questions. But wait till Monday, okay? You can ask some questions, but Monday a lot of them might be answered. Because Monday we're going to get into some details that are they're just awesome. God bless you. We're going to a wonderful place. And it is real. I have to stop with this. Are you ready? He said, whenever you share this, some will believe it, and some won't. And some will stand in this throne room on Judgment Day, and they'll remember what you told them. Some for good, and some for not so good. But you remember what I shared with you, because he wants us all to be with him. And we're going to get into some things about heaven, okay? Like, what are we going to do there? We're going to get into some really cool stuff. All right. My wife is going to give you some info.
Yes.
And we love you guys.
Yes.
And I'm here on earth. Trust me, I didn't want to come back because of you.
Yes.
He said, you got to go back because of them.
Because of them. Yes. So if you have any questions, you can go to my personal Facebook, those of you that are my friends, and send me a question and we will answer them. Or you can go to my Father's House Facebook, Las Vegas, and send in your questions there, and we will answer them also. Or you can go to mfhlv.com and leave a question there also. So we just want to tell you guys, hi Cecil, we love you. Raymond, Kelly, Yvonne, we love you guys. And Shirley.
Don't forget Louie.
And Louie, we love you. All of you guys out there, Geneva, we love you very much. We love Florida, we love Arizona, we love all of you guys. We love the whole world. So, yeah, you're
And
here.
you know what? I might not be able to answer every question, you know,
No.
so stuff I don't know a lot.
Yes.
But be here on Monday,
yes.
because you're going to hear things and that I found out from other people that went to heaven also.
Yes.
And they were the same, some of the same. One particular thing I'm going to share with you is going to just blow your mind.
Yes. So we'll see you Monday.
Are you ready?
Yes. Mwah.
God bless you guys.
God bless you. We love you.